Hello, friend. I have a story to tell you today. It's the story of my daughter's life. She died of lung cancer at the age of 39, and I have written a book which I think is helpful to us today in the very difficult circumstances in which we live. It brings hope and encouragement and a sense that all is well. I hope you enjoy it. Episode 3. Hello you, can you please drive me to Oxford on Friday for the PET scan results? Shirley asks, hoping so very much that Nick can. Glad to help, he drives her to Churchill Hospital. Here she's to meet her oncologist for the first time. Nick's probably her closest friend, so it's great to have him with her. They drive through gloriously green countryside. An occasional fighter jet streaks across the azure sky. At times its vapoured tail cuts the large fluffy clouds mercilessly in half. It's the turmoil in Shirley and Nick that makes it impossible for them to notice anything much. Nick steers Shirley's silver-grey Beamer with swift, confident manoeuvres. Throbbing pain makes Shirley adjust her hefty right leg. She pulls her full-length blue skirt out from under it and rubs the leg affectionately. Nick glances at her every now and then. Wisely, he says nothing. From time to time, he gently pats her besieged right knee, and she shifts a little. The warmth of their friendship certainly brings some relief. She's deep in thought. Old skeletons in her cupboard seize the opportunity to try to make mischief. They suggest, you haven't been looking after yourself, you know. Shirley remembers how many times she's been too tired to do anything else but pick up a takeaway and chips. She remembers drinking too much wine. More accusations filter through. For ever so long now, Shirley's felt that when God does have anything to do with her, it's always to punish and condemn. Nobody, not God, not anybody loves you, or so you believe. If you are that unlovable, why shouldn't unlovely things happen to you? She shivers. Hey you, Nick says, take my jacket if you're cold. It's on the back seat. Not far from Oxford, they do begin to talk about the consultation that lies ahead. Her brimming eyes cloud behind her sunglasses. She shivers even more. At the hospital, Shirley hangs on to Nick. She shuffles the whole length of the foyer past rows of shops. Halfway along the long, sterile white corridor, they turn left again. A digital screen repeats endlessly. We are so sorry to have to inform you that the following clinics are running late. A list details which ones and how late. It's all so very strange. Shirley's long, gentle hair caresses her delicate face. She finds little comfort in anything other than her soundless praying and the warmth of Nick's hand. I'm really sorry to have to tell you, Professor Ajit Kumar says, but you do have osteosarcoma. Since osteosarcoma is very uncommon in adults approaching 40, Shirley's 38, Shirley and Nick have been clinging to a slender thread of hope. Now their agony is intense. Well, okay, Shirley reluctantly concedes, still looking at the screen, but it can't be in my lungs. Oh God, please, it just can't. The prof runs his hand through his curly brown hair. For a moment or two, there's nothing but silence in the room. Then the prof murmurs apologetically, the red areas represent the cancer. The right leg certainly is a massive red, the whole thigh area riddled with the dread disease. Shirley squeezes Nick's hand so hard she crushes his fingers. You can see the cancer is very advanced in the right femur, Kumar continues. We need to remove almost the entire femur from hip to knee. Nick and Shirley struggle to take it in. Your new femur will be made of titanium, and we'll have you walking by Christmas. Nick and Shirley shift their focus. They frantically scan the image of her lungs. rather like ripe apples hanging from a laden tree. A number of small groupings of the dots glow red. Not just one, but from both lungs. Kumar murmurs under his breath, "There are so many." Alarmed, Nick takes Shirley's hand. This time they feel the fear gnawing deep. "The secondary tumours in your lungs are going to be a lot harder to get rid of," the prof explains. "We've got to tackle those as soon as we can." Nick looks at Shirley. Life has just thrown her a major curveball. "I was expecting a flood of tears," he tells Joe, a close friend of both of them later. "But what do I see instead? The most remarkable composure." He shakes his head in disbelief. "I was totally amazed. Either this was shock, or it was something else. Perhaps an inner strength, the reserves of the struggles of her life." Whatever it was, he finds what he understood to be her mysterious strength quite beautiful. Shirley's soft melodic voice breaks the stony silence. She asks the hardest question. "What are my chances of surviving this, Professor?" For a long, hard moment, aged Kumar looks at her. "Because it is in your lungs, the chances of survival drop from 60 or 70% to just 10%, he says gravely. "If we can remove the whole tumour from the leg and successfully treat your lungs, you could have a bit more than 5 years. If we can't catch the lungs in time, you could have up to a year." Blow after blow crashes down and lays siege to hope. Shirley and Nick are left absolutely numb. This whole experience is something else. But as Nick drives them back, tears and words erupt in a mingled flood. "I can't do this," Shirley keeps repeating. "No way, I just cannot do this." Nick weaves the beamer through the heavy Friday afternoon traffic. Shirley hardly notices. Occasionally her flowing skirt billows in the wind, and occasionally soft hair wraps her damp face. "I know this huge thing is about to happen to me. What is it going to be like? I just have no idea. What also freaks me out big time is the rush to get me on chemo. Only 2 days and the chemo starts? How terrifying is that?" Nick's lost in thought too, back to when he first met Shirley in 2010 on a skiing trip. To him, she's the most intriguing and captivating 34-year-old woman. He gives her the once-over. "Oh, my life, you're pretty." Next thing he checks to see if any other guys are interested. Then he sets up a dinner with her and a few others in town. The others actually all bail out as they're too tired and want an early night. So, really happy now, he tells her, "It's just us, if you like." For him, the butterflies move up a gear as they walk out into the freezing night. He discovers that she has a sense of humour that could deck you with belly cramps from laughing, his words, and a smile and laugh that are contagious. He remembers saying to himself, "She's got a brain sharper than a samurai sword and an ear that listens so acutely and hears what you are saying or not. All with a beautiful, soft, feminine voice, and a most wonderful and beautiful creature to look at, too." The evening is bliss. Nick remembers the chemistry and the spring in his step, in spite of ski-weary legs. Now, as Nick drives, he remembers they dated for some months. And then he saddens. She was so insecure, and it all came to the surface. So did his struggles with deep depression. He frowns. It was when they began to work together that the opportunity came to cool things off a bit. Bitterly hard. But he couldn't see what else to do. It was a friendship that continued to deepen. They continued to share trials and tribulations and the highs and lows of each dating others. He chuckles as he remembers going to the same pub, one of them with a date and the other to sit in a corner checking the date out in order to report back later. This time, as he looks over at Shirley, his glance